I'm Aodán McCardle. I'm an artist-writer or writer-artist, depending on where you find me, and both a lot of the time. And I'm lucky enough and very happy to be doing a exhibition stroke residency here at ArtLink, who have always, since I came here or since I became aware of ArtLink, always kind of given me a freedom to do work without having to know what I'm doing in advance and write down what I'm doing and dictate what I'm doing and say what I'm doing and measure what I'm doing. And that is probably as vital as anything that I could be offered. Wow, look at that. You know that thing when you're a kid and you get excited about the sandbox and the messing about in it. Okay, so are you at the 3/4 line? So we're hanging these drawings, and a big part of being able to do this show when I did the proposal for it was to be able to work at a scale that I knew I could work at in here and I couldn't work at home. And to then just find out as we go along what happens when you work at that scale. And, you know, yeah, no, there's something completely missing there. This show is called Emerging Forms and comes out of a drawing practice that I've developed over the years, which is just about sitting down in front of a blank sheet and beginning to make marks, and then allowing those marks to have a certain kind of say about how they develop. And that's similar to my main practice, which is performance writing stroke drawing, where I use mainly paper, charcoal, and my body really in various environments, and to bring to that whatever research I've done for the particular project. And I use what I've learned from that in my other practices, which are painting, drawing, and a big part of it is writing, poetry, short fiction, critical writing on literature or art or anything really. I am interested in the idea of, if not daily drawing practice, regular drawing practice and what you learn from that. For me, that's not about necessarily sitting down and skillfully achieving a particular outcome. That happens, but it's not the initial driving force. It's about taking time to sit and pay attention, whether it's attention to a subject, attention to what you're actually doing on a page, or attention to yourself as you do these things. And again, that's part of the performance practice. I tend to draw simple objects that are there in front of me. So that often means domestic objects or anything else I have lying about. Because it's not so much, I am interested in some subjects, but really it's about the time spent. And I draw with a pen, and I developed that from years ago from the fact that it stops you from rubbing out and trying to achieve something. The mark you make is the mark you get. And if you make a mark that's not right, you just have to keep working and develop it into the work. The objects I brought to this work were all stuff that I found, or stuff that is going to be thrown away, or stuff that it's got to the end of its initial use So the ropes I found on the local beach, there's nets I found on the local beach, knots, which are cut parts of rope that have been cut off, which are just the knot and a couple of frayed strands of rope, which take on a whole persona of their own. Bags, which you buy logs, and the logs are in the bag, and the bags are actually quite beautiful objects in themselves. And I had saved them thinking I would make use of them, just a general use of them. But over a period of time, I saved that many. I knew I was never going to use them. And I just was waiting for an opportunity to use them. And this became ideal for two reasons. One, the light in this room, and I have worked in here quite a few times over the years, but the light is amazing and forever changing. So I knew that the bags in themselves would, without making any change to their material condition, would just have something to say. So that became an opportunity, but also the bags, to sit and draw them, to observe them, and to make some attempt to make marks that relate to them on a page is an incredibly difficult thing. So I wanted to do that with these particular objects, and the other object that I brought were the containers from takeaways, mostly probably Chinese or whatever, which are very simple objects in themselves, but actually, if you think about it, they're incredibly delicate and well made and functional, and they've reached an end of their initial reason for being. So what do you do with them? But so in part it was to use the show, rather than as an exhibition, as a sort of a residency, to extend drawing practice, but in a larger scale. So that is how the show came about, why the show came about, and probably a fair bit of who I am within the show.